All right, guys, it's hurricane season. So we brought in the hurricane expert, Mr. Alex Sanders, with, I'm going to butcher this. It's such a long name, but it matters.
No worries.
O'Donnell Impact Windows and Storm Protection.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head, Joe.
It's like Walmart. It's like O'Donnell, but we do 73 things, man. And I'm like, holy smokes, it's impressive. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Business is good. Keeping busy. We couldn't be blessed. Couldn't be blessed.
You know, everybody I'm talking to who is working on homes, right? Whether they're doing like kitchen remodels, you do windows, I sell houses. So as long as they're working with houses and they've got great attitudes, they are doing more now than they were doing a month or two ago.
Right.
And you and I were just talking about the why behind that. And we talked a lot about the mindset and the work ethic. But I really think too, I mean, this is a complete guess. What do you think about this? People are just bored, man. They're at home and they're like, I think we need new windows. Hurricane season's coming.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of this kitchen. Let's get a new kitchen. I mean,
Absolutely.
How much you think that's true?
I do think it's true. But you know as well as I know, Mother Nature is going to come, whether we like it or not. So the coronavirus or not, when a storm hits your house and you have property damage, insurance is not going to care about the coronavirus when it comes to paying your the claims and to taking care of your actual property.
Yeah.
And that's something that with O'Donnell Impact Windows, we're not just in the business of selling windows. We're in the business of teaching you. The same thing with buying a home, Joe. I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's why I come to a professional to teach me that, right?
Yep.
And so the things of it is your house is your sanctuary, right? So this is where your family is. This is where your kids are. This is where maybe your mother-in-law lives there, right? And so my house got a lot of, so I got a lot of nice things passed down from my grandparents that are in my house. And so not only do these windows protect you from, the storms, but also for burglary, right? So the sheriff in town got his windows because for security reasons. And so the fact that if I'm working late and I'm doing estimates, because a lot of times I work around the schedules. You get off work at 5. I'm not going to say, you know what, Joe, I'm sorry, it doesn't fit into my schedule. I'm going to work whatever schedule I can to best fit you because I'm a family man and I'd want someone to do the same thing to me and respect my job.
Yes.
So as, so I come over and I go into depth and we talk about it. Do we want to do impact windows? Do we want to do accordion windows? What's your budget? How long are you going to be here? And kind of fill it out and get some ideas.
Dude, and you've never sold me windows before, but I've known you now for a while. We've had a lot of discussions. We've gone out for coffee. And I'm guessing that the biggest thing that really warms you up to people is you're just such an honest, trustworthy educator, right? Like you don't come off as salesy at all. And I try to tell salespeople all the time, forget about selling and just educate, help people. And maybe your product isn't the best for them. Tell them that, and tell them maybe in 5 years it'll be the best for you. But right now it just doesn't make sense. That's what people want.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. So my theory of this, Joe, we've all been in different kind of hardships through our life, made good money. We're in a financial situation. And the last thing I want to do is go to your house and put you in a situation that you can't bounce back out of. But what I can do is I can educate you. And like I tell my customers, I would rather you refer me to 10 people than me try to slam something down your throat, and get over on a sell. How's that going to benefit me, right?
Yep.
So the difference is with O'Donnell, it's you see it all over our cars. It's our family protecting yours. I am not afraid to go to your house, spend 3 hours with you, and then say, you know what, Joe, I don't think we need to do it this year. Maybe we need to do it next year. Maybe we need to do it in phases, right? So the thing is with O'Donnell, a lot of our competitors, the guys have come from down south, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and they'll come up here, sell a job. And you know what? That's done. They sold the window, right? Yeah. I sell you a project. I talk to you through the whole process. I'm there for the install. We know all of our installers by name. We don't subcontract. There's no middleman. because these products aren't cheap, right, Joe?
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea, a 36 by 62 single hung window, say you're looking at $1,000, right? These are not cheap products. And if something gets damaged in the process in your house and you have a subcontractor in there, now you're playing middleman. Now the customer is like, well,
Yeah.
this wasn't here, and the owner of the business is saying, I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
There's not that. We have managers, project managers that have worked their way up the totem pole,
Yep.
and now they're in a position where they're definitely there for the customer just as much as they are for the install, to make sure everything's going right and that they're happy and they get a product that they deserve. Because anybody can sell a window, Joe. Anybody can sell a window. But the fact of doing it right the first time and backing up, because we give a lifetime service and craftsmanship warranty with everything that we sell.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, that means a lot, and I think too, it really says a lot to work with somebody local. I'll speak with lenders. Lenders are one of the greatest people that we work with as realtors. And every time I hear that we've got an out-of-state lender involved on a deal, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Because anytime you get an issue, it's like, I can't get the sucker on the phone, And
Right.
they're so good when everything's going well, but when you have a hiccup, all of a sudden there's nobody where to be found. And I would assume you got the same issue if you're getting out of area people doing your windows. You have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anytime I do anything like that, not to mention the fact that you kind of fall in love with your folks locally. You want to help your community and if I got problems, I can go find Alex. Yeah. I like that. Hey. I know where you live, buddy.
Absolutely. We got 2 locations. We have one in Stewart, north of the Roosevelt Bridge. Yep. And we also have one as if you're going south to the Hope Sound, right across from Duffy's. And like I tell my customers, if there's ever an issue, please come in and talk to me. And what I found out, so I grew up in Mississippi in a manufacturing facility with my dad, right? So I really appreciate the fact of seeing people in our community going to work, right? A lot of people or don't have jobs right now, right? We are hiring all the time. We are growing all the time because of the actions that we do. And the fact that you can come to me if there's an issue, and I keep my communication. So if because a lot of times, a customer's like, I don't want to say anything because it's so minor and the guys were so sweet and there's 110 outside. No, tell me. I don't want that burden on you. That's my burden. I'm going to take care of you. And that's O'Donnell's way.
And don't you take pride in that? Isn't it?
I do.
Like, not that you want problems, but I've kind of gotten in the habit of, I've got one client, I just talked to her today, and she seems to always attract problems and issues and hurdles. And I kind of give her a hard time about it. I mean, I've got a good enough relationship with her now. I kind of give her a hard time about it. And she always will say, Joe, I'm so sorry. This thing popped up and we got to do this and this and this. I hate to do this to you. And I always say, listen, the more hurdles you bring to me, the more value I bring to you. So bring it on. And it just kind of,
man.
Yeah, it sets the culture, the environment, and then she's calm. She's like, okay.
Yeah. And the thing is the fact that you can have somebody come in from one spectrum and totally flip in and having your side.
Yeah.
What happens all the time. Just to give you an example, last week we had an install going on here in town. One of the guys, these are heavy products. So he ended up pulling his shoulder out, right? So we had to back up the job, a few days. And the customer had already had their blinds down. So they didn't really feel secure in their house, right? So she was a little bit upset. I don't blame, and then I got to tell her, I understand that you're upset. Yeah. And I'd be upset in your situation. But when I came over there, and here's the other thing. When you go with the Donald, I'm going to go over there and make sure she's taken care of.
Yep.
I went to Home Depot. I got the little sticky blinds, put the blinds up there. That's something that's not in the contracts, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't something that is in fine lines. This is stuff that O'Donnell does to make sure the customers are taken care of, because you know what? I'm going to see you in Publix.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there with my little kids, my 2-year-old and my 3-year-old and my wife. And the last thing I want to do is walk by you with my head in.
Yeah.
Yep. We're not going to do that. That's not the way we do business here.
That's pretty awesome, man. So let's talk numbers, because a lot of people, I get people all the time who, when we're looking at houses and we're kind of right on that fringe where half the houses have them, half the houses don't have the hurricane windows.
Right.
And they'll say, Joe, how much are windows? And I won't spill the beans. I'll let you, I don't want to steal your thunder here.
Yeah.
But you're in my position. You're the realtor. what would you tell them? Let's talk about an average 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot home here in Port St. Lucie. What would it cost to get? Yeah, let's just say that. What would it cost?
Here, I'll give you a scenario. I'll tell you my house. I live in Port St. Lucie. I've got a 1,600 square foot house. I've got a sliding glass door in the back. I've got a single door in the front with a satellite, and I got some pretty big size windows, right? So for a project like that, doing the impact windows, I'd say you're probably, and now this is just ballpark. I'm not looking up any numbers, but just an idea. I'd say we're going to be probably somewhere around $14,000.
$14,000, but that includes the slider. Like, explain to me what that includes and what it doesn't include.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you know this, Joe, but when I got hired on at O'Donnell, I actually had the privilege to manage and to run our install crews, right?
Yeah.
So I have too much information sometimes. Sometimes too much is too much, right? So, but when we take these windows out, a lot of these Port St. Lucie homes, so if you have a block house, your window is not actually attached to the block. The window is attached to a buck, which is a piece of wood that's attached to the block.
Yeah.
When they were building these homes in Port St. Lucie, they changed the building code in 2013, so things changed a little bit. But a lot of these older houses, there's a buck that's, an 1.5 inches wide, right? We take all that out. We put new wood in, pressure treated wood. We waterproof everything. Because, like I said, anybody can sell a window, but what separates everybody is the insulation. Yeah. We don't go cheap on materials, right? So there's a tap con every 9 inches. It's going to hold 3,500 pounds. Every 9 inches, every 3 inches from the corner, there's a tap con. Those are embedded 1.25 inches into the block. All right. So it's a process. So it's not just taking the window out and putting the window in. Take the window out, waterproof it, change the bucking material out, put the window in, maybe cut the drywall back and butt the window up to it. So it's not just putting a window in. A job like this. And two, so we work in 2-man crews. So we have a guy inside and a guy outside, and we're known for our quality, not our speed. And I think anyone would appreciate that when you're spending that kind of money.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, I can get it in 8 weeks. You have to ask yourself, why can they just, order a product and there's not a lead time, right?
Yeah.
So my customers are from here. And like I said, huge on referrals. And when we do these projects, we come in, we put drop cloths over your furniture, drop cloths on the ground, even in the flower bed outside, Joe. If you got a flower bed outside, we even put the drop cloths out there. You're not left with loose ends, right? So it's a big project. And talking about numbers here, Joe, depending on the house that you get, whether it was block. So here's an idea. I bought my house. It was built in 2006.
Yep.
My house was built with the galvanized shutters, which are the panels that stack on top of each other. So my insurance rating isn't going to drop as much as a home that was built maybe in the 80s or 90s that didn't have any hurricane protection. You can see your premiums drop as much as 45% as far as being able to put impact windows in. And there's different levels. So there's impact windows and accordion shutters. We sell impact windows and accordion shutters. A lot of times, say you bought your house and you said, you know what, I just want to protect my windows with the accordion shutters, and you already have protection. So a lot of times my customers get protection just because they want more.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when this storm's coming at you, Joe, you can't put a price tag on safety.
Yeah. So I live in a house and I've got all old windows, and you live in a house and you've got all O'Donnell nice hurricane windows. Now that storm comes flying through. How protected am I versus how protected are you? Let's talk wind speeds, categories. What are we looking at? When do I start getting scared? When do you start getting scared?
So here's the thing, Joe. Your house, everybody, and it's so hard to talk about Mother Nature because I love talking about it. Everybody wants to put their 2 cents in, right? Yep. But you have these pop-up tornadoes but my windows are built with a design pressure of plus 50 minus 50, which is going to put you at 155-mile-an-hour wind. All right. And I tell all my customers, I sell impact windows, but I grew up in Mississippi and we had a house in Katrina. And I'm telling you, you do not want to be that guy that's beating on his chest. You know, you don't want to be that guy. Send your family out of town if there's a storm coming. With your house, I say you can stay up to a category 2, you know, something like that. But what if something was to happen and all of a sudden, like with Dorian, we didn't know we was going to sit on the Bahamas.
Yeah.
That was last minute, right?
Yeah, big.
So what are you going to do? Yeah, so the beautiful flower pot that you're putting outside last weekend from Home Depot goes flying through your window.
Yeah.
And now it's going to rip that roof completely off of your house.
Yep.
All right. And these are the things that insurance looks at as far as what did you do to protect yourself?
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, did you pull a permit? And the reason that they did that, so here's a cool stat, and I know you like numbers, right? And I'm not too much of a numbers guy, but I got some for you. And these are good, right? So in 1 year, counting tornadoes, hailstorms, just insurance claims, right? $10 billion a year, all right, that are paid out for homeowners.
Wow.
That is a lot of money, all right? So they changed these building codes in 2013 in Florida. The reason being is because there were storms coming and people were putting up plywood over their windows and the roofs are gone. And now their insurances are almost going bankrupt trying to take care of these houses. Yeah. They said no more unless you have the protection. And that's why we permit everything. People are like, you have to pull a permit? I don't, this and that. Well, you know what? It's protecting you. It's protecting you because somebody can come in here and put whatever window they want in and tell you whatever it is. But when that inspector comes to your house, you know what? If we fail an inspection, all that does is protect you. And you know what? We're going to button up, right?
Yep.
So they come over, they check screws. They check, do you have, some screws that are spinning in the block? They check the edge distance from the flange of your window to that bucking material. They don't want anything more than a 1/4 inch around the whole window. So when you have people that talk about, I don't think it's a big idea to pull a permit. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's not me trying to come after you. It is protecting you from, like I said, God forbid something was to happen to your house, right?
Yeah. So we talked about safety. We talked about insurance. Now, what about like cooling? Cooling is expensive, man. So, like, dude, in the summer, and my house isn't that. I got 10-foot ceilings. I kind of wish I didn't, man, because holy smokes, that's another 20-25% of the house. Yeah. But cooling here in the summer is $300 a month. So what is my bill going to look like when I go down on windows?
That's another topic. So I always say, so say if you put $15,000 worth of windows into your house, 74% of that's going to go right towards the value of your house. You need to stay in your house for another 3 or 5 years to be able to make up for that $4,000 difference, to be able to offset the cost of the windows. I've seen them drop as low as 30-40%. Depends on where the house is. If you're a block house, if you're a wooden house. But I have a customer call me the other day. It was in Bay St. Lucie. I don't know if you know where that's at. Little hidden gem in Port St. Lucie, off of the South Bend area. Yep. You went from paying around $350 a month to around like $180 a month.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Right?
And sound. If you got kids, here's another one. When the garbage truck drives by, you're not going to hear it. You're not going to hear it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I can't hear my kids anymore.
Yeah, so whenever I have to come in the house when the windows are installed, I'm loud. I love people. I want to give people hugs and kisses all the time, right? So I got to turn my knob down because I can hear my voice echoing off of the walls.
Yep.
See this piece of glass, there's actually 3 panes of glass. A lot of people don't know that. The inner piece of the glass is actually 2 pieces of tempered glass, right? And then there's a gas in between that and the outside pane that's going to help with the energy efficiency, with the heat not going through the pane, as well as your AC not going through those panes. So you're going to save save quite a bit of money, and you're going to tell as soon as those windows are in that next month, you're going to see it come off your bill.
So you said 74% of whatever I invest in windows on average comes back to me in value. Are you just talking about resale value, or does that include the savings on insurance and the savings on cooling my house as well?
That's going to be resale value. So so like I said, my house was built with hurricane protection. So I already have a discount on my premium because of that. If your house was built in the 80s and you didn't have the protection, it's going to knock your premium bill dramatically in half, right? But it's a case by case basis, as far as the savings with the insurance.
Yeah, but if you're saying 74% on average, I'm getting back, you're only paying really 26% for the windows. And then when you start adding in the insurance savings and the cooling savings, if you're there long enough, you're almost breaking even, man. You're getting an upgrade.
Yeah. But like I said, about 3 or 5 years. And
that's what you think it's about even?
Yeah. That's what you're going to say. That's what's going to, and I tell my customers, if you're going to move, like I told you about the customer the other day, he goes, you know what? I don't even like my house. Because I told him what his bill was going to be. And he said, you know what? My wife doesn't even like the kitchen. I said, you know what? Go see my friend Joe. He'll put you in a brand new house, right? So sometimes it doesn't make sense, but that's why we're going to come over there and make sure that you're getting exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Because if you have a house that was built in 2012 or 13, you're still paying on your mortgage for those windows, right? Yeah. So I think about that. I'm a homeowner, okay? I've got kids. If I got a couple of grand in my bank, I want to go to Disney World, right? So, but that's what we do. So, in that case, I would come over and I would sell you an accordion shutter. An accordion shutter, Joe, just so you know, say a 36 by 62 average single home window is $1,000. Well, for the shutter, you're going to be looking at a third of the price. You're going to be looking at about $350 for an accordion shutter. Also comes with a lifetime service and guarantee. Super safe. High velocity 5-point locking system shutters that we sell. We actually manufacture them at our location.
So, okay. So if I'm going to blow 15 grand on windows and I say, don't want to do it, I want to put up accordions. The accordions are going to cost me about $5 grand. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Roughly. Yeah.
Right.
So tell me the difference between me putting up the normal metal storm shutters on my normal crappy windows versus accordions versus the smoking windows you guys have. What's the protection difference on those three? Like, I've never really even thought about accordions. Where does that fit in?
So accordions are going to protect you from that, from the hurricanes, right? So you're not going to get the efficiency. You're not going to get the safety, but you're going to be protected from the storm. All right. Yeah. And so what I like to do, Joe, I love people. And I love making people happy, right? So it makes my job easy. So a lot of times I go to houses and I ask questions, how did this come about? Is this something you've been wanting to do? And here's a good scenario. Say you live in Minnesota, all right?
Let's just say.
But you have a beach house here, right? Where you have renters, okay? But say if you are going back to Minnesota before the storms, right? You don't want your neighbor looking at your accordion shutter shut on your house, right? Yeah. So this is what I'm going to say. You know what? Why don't we do the front of your house impact, do the back of the house accordion? All right. Yeah. Now your neighbors aren't mad. Your HOA is not freaking out on you, and you're protected. You can call your neighbor and say, "Hey, you know what? I'll give you $20. Go over there and shut my shutters. He can be done. Yeah. He can be done in 5 minutes." And a lot of things with the accordion shutters. In Mississippi, we didn't have the kind of houses that we have here, but a lot of the homes you see in Port St. Lucie. So we service from Fort Pierce to Northwest Palm Beach, about Tequesta, Jupiter area. All right. And a lot of the houses have a lanai that is overlooking a pool, right? You got your pool patio furniture, you've got your little daughter's life jackets and beach noodles and all that.
That's literally what I got in my backyard right now.
Yeah. And I say this because this is the average family's backyard.
Yeah.
And so in that lanai, you've probably got a sliding glass door. You probably have maybe a cabana door going to your pool, and maybe you have a couple windows, right? So why don't I go in that lanai and put an accordion in the lanai?
Yep.
So now you can sit there and make a joke out of it. Say you're sitting there having margaritas before Dorian comes. Were you here with Dorian?
No, I wimped out and went to Tampa, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a
So
wimp.
I'm sitting here bored out of my mind. Kids are going nuts, right? So all we have to do, we can sit out there, have some margaritas, hang out. 20 minutes before this storm's going to come, shut them up, walk inside. The pool patio furniture's in. I don't have to, because we don't know if we're going to lose power, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want all this furniture in my house.
Yep.
You know, my wife loves plants, so we got so many plants and pots outside, so I can pull that stuff in, and that's all debris you don't have to worry about flying out, and it's still going to protect you from your insurance.
Yeah,
it's going to help you with your insurance.
Man, you got a lot of information. I love this kind of stuff. I love the stats because I always think, of course, everybody wants impact windows, but just like any other thing you purchase, you've got the cost involved. But I'm such an in-depth analyst, so I'm like, well, I want to hear how the numbers work out, and I don't know, that's 74%, and that's just the resale value is so interesting to me. For me, it's almost just, if you can financially afford it, it almost is a no-brainer.
Right. And like we were talking about earlier, and well, actually, when I first got into meeting you, we were talking about, I said, if you have a homeowner that absolutely loves that house, don't not buy the house because of the windows.
Yeah.
Get the house.
Yep.
Get what you want. You're going to live there. Put the money, invest in your house. Don't go buy a $60,000 boat.
Yeah.
Put the money into your house and protect your family from the storms, right? A lot of people talk about money, right? I don't want to spend the money. But you buy a new boat, you buy a new camper, you do this, you do that. My priority is my family. I want to make sure my family's protected and I feel safe in my house. My wife's at home right now. I'm not worried about someone breaking into my house because you know what, Joe? You're going to have to bring a chainsaw and a cement saw to try to get into my windows.
That's not how I break into home.
Yeah, well, my neighbors love me, so they're not even going to, as soon as they hear a chainsaw crank up, they're going to be like, is Alex mowing his yard, you know, at 9 o'clock at night? You know? But so the thing is it brings a lot more value than just being protected from the storm. 365 days out of the year, Joe, you're protected. That's big.
Yeah.
The fact that your wife's at home and you know she's safe, you can't put a price tag on that.
Yep.
This is what we work for, is for our family. We need to protect our homes.
Well, I appreciate having you on, my man. Tell me, I've got a little bit up in the comment section, but tell me, if I want windows, how do I connect with you? How do I get in touch with you?
Joe, if they want to get in touch with me, they can give me a call, 772-341-2578. Again, that is 772-341-2578. And if you have a busy schedule and if you're at work, send me a text message. All right. I know how it is when you're busy. Easy going. If you want me to come look at it 2 weeks from now, just send me a text message and we'll get it lined up for you.
Boom. That's right. 341-2578.
That's it, my man.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again. I sincerely appreciate it. And you're such a huge benefit to me. I've really been blessed with surrounding myself with these studs in this area who provide just great things for my clients. I'm greedy, man. I want the best electrician. I want the best window guy. I want the best financial guy. So we got them in that group of ours. And I can't appreciate having you in that group any more than I do.
And I appreciate that too, Joe. I like I told you, I was nervous getting into it, right? But the thing is I've never met a group of people that are so passionate about what they do.
Genuinely.
Right. And anybody can work a job, right? But to really care about your customer and to give them the opportunity and to take care of them, that's what our group is. And that's hard to find anymore. And you know what? People love that and they see it and I feed off of it and I feed off of you. So I appreciate it.
Well, thanks again, my friend. I appreciate you. You have a great night.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Adios.
All right. See ya.